We Interrupt This Program is the title of WandaVision Episode 4, and that describes it pretty accurately as it takes the focus away from our title characters, as well as its sitcom approach, and focuses on a narrative that is set outside of the town of Westview. This is probably the episode that a lot of people have been waiting for, the episode that explains what was happening on WandaVision and why we're getting fed this story through retro sitcoms. Well, to be fair, it didn't explain everything, but it did lift the curtain to confirm what we've been seeing up until now were nothing but fabrications created by the Scarlet Witch. Everything in episode 4 kind of recaps the story thus far, but through the eyes of the other characters not held prisoner in Westview. For starters, we now know who Geraldine really is. She's Monica Rambeau, the daughter of one of Carol Danvers' closest friends, Maria Rambeau, who was introduced in the MCU in Captain Marvel. It is revealed that Monica is one of the casualties that got snapped away during the Thanos blip. We also find out that she's an agent of S.W.O.R.D. and is slowly getting back into things as she missed the last 5 years of her life due to her disappearance. We also get reintroduced to two familiar faces in the MCU, Thor's friend Darcy, who now has a PhD in astrophysics, and FBI agent Jimmy Woo, who you might remember from the Ant-Man franchise. All three characters are now working together with their own respective skills to figure out what is going on in the town of Westview. So far, it is revealed that Wanda and her whole alternate reality television sitcom show thing was initially labeled a missing persons case, but as more missing people piled up, it evolved into a missing town case, with local authorities claiming to have never heard of Westview, even when these officers, who are from Eastview, can clearly see the town right in front of them. Basically, everyone you saw in the last 3 episodes who aren't Wanda or Vision were all missing people. They aren't actually missing though, they're there in Westview. But for whatever reason, Westview and its inhabitants are vague memories to everyone outside of town, and it's all Wanda's doing. I think the biggest takeaway from seeing everything outside Wanda's point of view this time around is that now we have a completely different idea on who S.W.O.R.D. is. In the 3 previous episodes, S.W.O.R.D. was painted almost like some kind of mysterious organization that could be labeled and seen as the antagonist, trapping our heroes in this weird sitcom reality, pulling the strings and puppeteering Wanda and Vision's new life. But now it's very apparent that S.W.O.R.D. is actually the good guy, trying to save these missing people. My original theory was that these people living in Wanda's reality were not manifestations, but real people living in this real town that she manipulated with her magical powers. Basically, it looks like after the events of Endgame, Wanda found a nice peaceful town to live her life, decided to put a spell on her surroundings, and everyone inside of it just ended up unintentionally being part of this new vacuum reality. And to top it off, she decided to resurrect Vision to be her husband and the father to her children. But we'll get to that in a bit. This spell she put on the town is basically a bubble. It's like an invisible shield that can't be seen by the naked eye, as shown when Monica tried to fly a drone into it, only to have Wanda find it later in her front yard. Remember the helicopter? Yep, that was the drone. So with S.W.O.R.D. being some kind of a hero group in the story, does that make Wanda the antagonist, being on the other side of the moral spectrum? I mean, she has an entire town hostage. She's manipulating their minds to fit her ideal reality, and she's using a reanimated Vision to be her husband and her father to her children, which, by the way, was one of the freakiest things I've seen in the MCU thus far. A walking, talking corpse of the Vision just totally took me by surprise. Seeing a dead Vision speaking to Wanda, only to have her shake it off and have him back to normal again, gives away that Scarlet Witch is the one pulling the strings. She's a mastermind behind all these weird events happening on the show, and I don't think she's all there. Like, I'm saying she's going crazy. Just like she was in the comic book event Avengers Disassembled, which, by the way, is an amazing story. I highly recommend you reading it and checking it out if you have a chance. But overall, I thought this episode was really cool, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. If WandaVision didn't hook you the last 3 previous outings, I'm pretty sure this one's going to do the job to keep you interested. WandaVision did tease the grander scheme of things up until now through a facade displayed in a family-friendly sitcom, but now it looks like the show is saying, this series is going to get dark real fast. So what do you guys think of the latest episode of WandaVision? Did you guys like it? Let me know what you guys think is going to happen next, and I'll see you next time.